Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation review. Today's review is for Midnight Fight Express on the PlayStation 4. Now what is Midnight Fight Express? It might be a game you've heard a little bit about. I heard about this game a couple of months ago for the first time. I can't remember where I saw it or where I heard it from. It might have been Skill Up, because he does champion a lot of independent games. And my understanding is, and I don't know how accurate it is, that this game is like a one-man band. It's just one guy that has developed this game. And what is it? Well, essentially it is a top-down isometric beat-em-up. So it's very much like, in a lot of ways, the old school beat-em-ups like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, and sprinkled with a little bit of Arkham in regards to the controls. Now, with this being like a low-budget independent game, it's definitely a little bit rough around the edges. The presentation is not exactly what you describe as top-notch. At times, it does feel a little bit cheap. There's no voiceover at all. It's all text-based. The story could best be described as pretty garbage, really. It's almost like a 12-year-old kind of wrote the script for this, you know, like some kind of low-budget B-movie action thing. So there's a lot of things, I suppose, if you really wanted to go in on this game, you could really criticise it in a lot of different areas. But let's be honest, who really goes into a beat-em-up for the strength of the story? You know what I mean? We've already had what you could describe as a fairly top-tier beat-em-up this year in Sifu, which is a game I did cover on the channel. A game I very much enjoyed. I did find it incredibly difficult, as did many others, but that did get like an easy mode thrown into it a few months after it was released to make it more accessible. With this one, you can kind of choose your difficulty level as soon as you go in, right from basically very, very easy up to as hard as you want, basically. There are some customizable options, as you can see. After each level, you get the opportunity to kind of change a lot of things on your character, the hair color, tattoos. You will earn like money each level, and you can buy new items of clothing, some really out there weird stuff if you like, or whatever you want to do. You can change the appearance of your character at will after each level, and that's essentially how the game operates. They are fairly short levels. The first couple of levels are really tutorials that introduce you to the control schemes and just basically how the game works. And if you've played any type of beat 'em up like this, it will not be difficult for you to pick up and play this game. And that's a really good way to describe this game. It's a fairly easy pick up and play game. You're not going to pick this up for the story. You're not going to pick this up for the deep involved gameplay, because you don't really get any of that. It's just a really fun arcade style beat 'em up that is quite satisfying to play, but does come with a few issues, as I've mentioned. So, like I've said, after each level, when you complete a level, and the levels are fairly short, some of them are like 5 minutes or less, some of them are a little bit longer, but give or take, they're all fairly short levels. And the levels are just basically consist of you going through the level and taking out waves and waves of enemies. They never really deviate much beyond that. Sometimes, obviously, you get different environments. You'll be on top of trains sometimes, in warehouses, in kitchens. I mean, on train station platforms, you name it. There's a whole different array of arenas, if you like, or levels that you're going to be fighting in. You can use the environment to your advantage, in a sense of you can kick chairs at people, you know, garbage cans at people. You can use weapons. You can pick weapons up and use them, whatever they may be, like truncheons on the floor, wrenches, knives, even weapons like guns. You can pick up and use them, and then it kind of becomes like a you control it with the right stick and then click right to fire the weapon. Quite easy to use. But the real meat and two veg of this game is the hand-to-hand combat, and it's fairly simple to pick up, and one of those games that's easy to learn but hard to master, I suppose, is fairly a good way of describing it, because you've got different varieties of enemies. You get like almost a new enemy introduced each level, give or take, and some of them come with different challenges, as you can expect. Some of them are tougher. They might have a shield as well, so you've got to break through the shield. Some of them are bigger and stronger. Some of them are really skilled, so you've got to kind of change your tactics for each kind of enemy in the game, as you would expect for a game like this. But essentially you can dodge, parry, very much like the Arkham games. You click triangle to parry, and then you can kind of counter them with your own counter attacks. You've got powerful punches. You can after each level as well, you can upgrade all your skill sets. And each level, I mean, the replayability factor here as well is like each level comes with its own challenges, like kill a certain amount of enemies with a certain weapon, or complete a level without using any weapons, and you'll get like bonus points, bonus money, all that kind of stuff. And at each level you get a score at the end of the level, and best score at a time. And there are global leaderboards. So the real replayability factor for completionists here is to go back into the levels and try and improve your score from last time. Sadly for me, I'm not really what you would describe as a completionist. If I can get through a level and complete that so I can get onto the next level, that's usually me happy. I very rarely will go back into a level, only occasionally. So the replayability factor for me personally isn't really there. But it's a really accessible pick up and play beat 'em up, this one. It's nothing special. I mean, the early buzz on this was that it was going to be outstanding. It's certainly not outstanding, but for the price, like I say, I think I paid around £15 for this in the UK. It doesn't pretend to be anything other than a fun, disposable pick up and play beat 'em up, very much in the old school beat 'em ups that we used to play years ago, like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, things like that, coupled with some modern day action thrown in as well. A bit John Wicky, I suppose, here and there. So make of it what you will, guys. It's certainly worth picking up for the price of £15 if you know this is going to be your sort of game. If you're just not sure of it, maybe pull the trigger when it drops down in its first sale in a month or two. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.